Was worried if I never love again. Hi guys, mic check. It's really been a minute since I've created for YouTube. I have been kind of active on Instagram, even TikTok. I'm really trying on TikTok. I'm really trying to put myself out there. It's a new era for me since I've graduated. Like, life has just changed. So on this video, I just want to talk to you guys and just let's have a little catch up. Actually, really. Don't believe this year that I have created a sit down video, but today I want to actually talk to you guys, catch up, tell you how I have been, because I have been struggling, to be honest, and I've always wanted my platforms to be as authentic as possible. Last time I was on YouTube, especially when I was shooting about stories about becoming, I was intentional and I said I'm gonna create on a topic called growing pains. And then it so happened that I started going through these said growing pains that I found it so difficult to just pull out the camera and just talk about something that I am actually going through at the time. Have been lessons I have learned from healing. The first point that I want to talk about today is mental health. So I have been in therapy for an year now, actually, and I feel like I have really uncovered a lot about myself. It's really interesting, you know, the work you do in therapy, that you find out things about yourself and like it starts connecting. I'm like, okay, not first we were doing work about healing the inner child. I believe everybody has some work to do when it comes to healing the inner child. In some past video, Kitambo, I told you that you cannot keep blaming your parents for being how you are. At some point, you have to start taking accountability for how you are. Okay, you must, like, your parents are just people. They did the best to program you with the information they had. Mind you, like, things have really changed right now. Like, kids are learning things even outside of their parents' control. So you must give your parents some grace, and you must now take matters into your own hands to reprogram yourself until you find the version that you like best. Okay, so in my pursuit of the the version of myself rather that I like best, I went into doing some work about the inner child, and this kind of exposed some things, you know. And I kept going back to my mom and asking her, you know, how was I as a child? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? And I recognized that also that must have been so difficult for my mom, because like maybe to a certain extent she thought I was questioning like her parenting, but like, mom, that's not what I was doing. It's just, it was very like, what word even can I say? Like, it was profounding, like the things I was able to uncover, and they kind of shed light into why I do some things that it just also kind of connected why I'm an overachiever, you know, because I'm a firstborn, because of the responsibility I've had of just helping my mom out even when my dad was away and things like that. So that being responsible kind of got ingrained in me. There's also some other things, of course, that are detrimental. I also will not come here and expose myself. The irony that your light grows stronger the more you're willing to face the dark. Yeah, I wrote it down. The irony is that your light grows stronger the more you're willing to face the darkness. So you must be willing to just look at yourself, embrace like everything about yourself, every part of yourself, and not be scared of the darkness that is in you, so that you can be able to walk towards the light. You understand? In the last 2 weeks specifically, I have been angry. I have been so angry. Like, I was conscious that I am really angry and I don't know what to do about this anger. Scheduled myself into an emergency therapy session like that week, and I was just like, I was feeling like I'm getting an anxiety attack. I was feeling like I can't like cope. You know, I was feeling overwhelmed with emotion. Like, it was just work stress, and I was just like, I just can't go on feeling the way I'm feeling. Change starts happening inside you, everything else around you will change. All this to say, as things continued to change, as I continued to kind of understand my inner child and connecting and becoming a more healed version of myself as an adult, it started exposing some more cracks that have been there. that have been there in my friendships, that have been there in my job, that have been there in even my family unit. In that session that then I got to do on that day, I just, like, my therapist encouraged me to stay angry, to stay mad. And that was something that was very baffling to me. It was very baffling to me because I've never actually appreciated anger as a feeling, because anger has always been portrayed to be a bad feeling, really. Like, you shouldn't be angry. Being angry is a sin. But then I went back to the Bible and I saw places where God has been angry with his people. There was a point even in the Bible where Jesus was angry with the people at the market for, worshipping idols and all these things. So even the holiest person experienced anger. So then I realized, this anger is also just a feeling like any other. Why is it not wrong to feel love, to feel happy, to feel all these other emotions, but it is wrong to feel angry? It's not wrong to feel angry. What you do when angry is what then becomes wrong. Let's sit with that for a bit. Like, it's not the anger that is bad, it's what you do while you're angry. Then that's why it's important for you to be able to recognize your triggers, to take a step back and then to choose the right reaction. Because it's not like somebody can just really poke you and do something that is really bad to you. That does not mean then you become docile and then you don't do anything. It means you don't react, you act. Following, whatever has happened, you choose the right. It can be also a reaction, it can be a better reaction when you take a step back. I can't say that I've always known how to do that. There've been moments where I was the villain in the story, and then there has been moments where I have been painted to be the villain in the story. And both of these situations are just fine as long as, for me myself, I know what happened. And what has really helped me in most situations when I feel angry, and what my therapist also shared with me, is important for me to come back and write exactly how the situation has happened, so that when, what happens as an overthinker, which is what I am, is that I'll keep ruminating on the events that happened surrounding that moment of anger, and then I'll find a way to blame myself. And then I'll be like, okay, I was definitely the villain in that story. And especially after some time passes, when you remember the facts of what happened, you kind of come back and blame yourself for the breakdown in a certain relationship if the anger leads to that. It's important that, this is a tip I'm also giving you, write down the facts of this is exactly how it happened, so that when you come back being the worst version of yourself to yourself, you start beating yourself up, you can go back to your journal and you're like, okay, this is how it happened, this is how it happened, this is what I did, this is what the other party did. And then you understand the facts. So it's important that you do that, because sometimes people gaslight you, sometimes people will manipulate the situation, so that for yourself you're able to know. And on top of that, you'll be able to see, okay, what triggered me in this situation, and then you can also develop yourself further. I should have become a therapist. I'm something of a therapist myself, no? I am something of a therapist myself. Sometimes you can appreciate a season. Yeah, sometimes you can appreciate a season without chaining yourself to it. It's okay if the season changes. It's okay if the season comes to an end, all right? You don't have to chain yourself to a season just to show that you are grateful for having been in that season. You don't have to stay in a space forever. Sometimes things happen for a season and for a reason. And when the season has come to an end, sometimes the reason also has to come to an end. It is what it is. And you must be able to decipher when the end has come for yourself. When it's the end of the season, you walk away gracefully. Yeah, so that's mental health. Let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about friendship. When do you stop going through a friendship breakup? When it stops hurting, when it stops sucking. I don't feel like it'll stop sucking. Every time that I think about this person, I'll still feel some type of way. And for me, what I can say about that situation is that I really wish the scenario could have played out differently. I really wish there was more empathy that was extended in that situation, because a few weeks after the whole fallout happened, I found myself in kind of the receiving end of what I was having the other time. That the situation was that my friend was going through something, and she kind of went quiet, went silent, and I couldn't help but think, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Was there something I could have done to change the situation? How can I make her feel better? Is it my fault that we are not talking? You know, sometimes when it's somebody who really matters to you, you start asking yourself this kind of basically what I'm saying is you're not able to sit in the discomfort of, I don't know what is happening between me and so and so. In some seasons, people don't really communicate that this is what I'm going through. Sometimes, like, especially for me, when I'm going through something, I like to kind of take a step back or not talk. Sometimes I just want to just be in that space, and then till I figure things out is when I'll come back and tell you this is what I was going. Actually asked me, did I do something? Is there something that I said? Blah blah blah. And I wasn't ready to talk about it at that time, but I just felt like she really pushed me towards saying what was happening when I was still in the season of anger, and I didn't want to talk when I was angry. I wanted to be able to process the emotions till a place when I'm not angry, and then I can come and share. But then I also recognize that she was in a space of wanting to know what is going on. So after the whole friendship broke down, I found myself now in a space where now it's me who wants to know, what have I done? What have I, like, why are we not talking? Is there something I can do? And in that space, I asked myself, what would I have wanted in that space when I was in the receiving end? What would I have wanted? I would have wanted my friend to just give me some space, because I communicated and said, I'm angry in this time. Can we take a step back and talk about this after a week or after 2 weeks and come back to the table? You know, I think that is what I would have wanted in that situation. But then different people handle different situations differently, you see. So yeah, so I just kind of also understood where my friend was, but then the way it ended also shed more light into why we can't ever be friends again. You see, because my therapist asked me, do you see yourself being friends with this person in the future? And honestly, I said no. But at first I had hope that this is somebody we can maybe in future put the cards on the table and we can talk about it and say, and come back to a neutral ground, you know. But then the way it played out, the way it ended, I don't think there's gonna be space for us to ever be friends again in the future. And what that makes me want to share here today is that it's very important to be mindful in the way we end friendships, you know, because friends are very special people. And even when a friendship breakup and even a romantic breakup happens, we always are quick to say, I'll never ever have somebody like you. Sometimes from a good place, sometimes from a bad place, that I never want to have somebody like you again. And the reality is you'll never have somebody like them again, both good and both bad, because they're a unique person. You'll never experience somebody like that again. So it's kind of, you've lost a piece of yourself, because this person kind of connected to a piece of yourself. So you'll never maybe experience somebody again who's like that. So I think it's very important that we are kind in how we end friendship, because what if somebody never loves again? What if somebody never has another friend again? Not to say then now you should close yourself off and never make other friends, but you know, Adele says it. If I never love again. You know that song. So yeah, I think it's very important that the way we end friendship to be graceful. And it was very hard for me, because I was like, do you know mimi ni msichana wa East Lando? If bitches wanna act funny, we can be hilarious. I'm still healing, but I'm a baby version. I can really relapse quickly, so stop testing me. But it was really hard to kind of hold myself to not speak out of anger when I was just really, really angry. For me, what really stood out is the fact that she tried to cut me off at every point. If you've decided to end it with me, and that's it, I respect you, you can cut me off, but then don't kind of come and start poking. Just because I'm acting gracefully in this situation does not mean that I'm not gonna act on my boundaries. You're not gonna play with me. I'm gonna defend myself if it comes to defending myself. I'm very firm with my boundaries right now, that I will communicate my boundary, because immediately she said what she said to me about my friend, I was like, well, you can't say that. That is not right. I have boundaries and I won't allow you to say that. And she kind of laughed it off, and she felt that it's a joke. And for me, I didn't take it lightly like that. So when she came back, like the way it was, I just hate that that's how the situation played out. And I have a mind to even cut this whole segment out, but this video is about being honest. If you want to walk away from my life, you choose you do what's best for you. Do not let me stop you. And the kind of people that have remained being my friends are actually the people who are authentic to who I am. So if you also outgrow me as a friend, it's okay. The season has come to an end and I'm willing to accept that. Yeah, so, and I'm also okay to forming new friends as I go, because hizo mambo za no new friends, sijui forming friends when you're older. No, I'm open to making new friends. I'm seeking out new friendships, and I'm happy and open to meet new people who align with who I am or this version of myself, because as I continue growing, there's some people that I cannot take along with me because they'll not be able to let me be the new version of myself. Yeah. So that's about the friendship breakup. Honor the season without chaining yourself to it. Yeah, that's about moving on to the next thing. If you know me, I have two goals: be beautiful and to be disgustingly overeducated. So, first of all, I want to appreciate you guys so much. The last vlog that went live 2 weeks ago is my graduation vlog, the actual graduation day, which was 27th June. The next vlog that would go live is the party, and I have wanted to sit down and edit that vlog, but it kind of marks the changes that the beginning of the end. When I graduated, I decided I'm gonna go for everything else. I want my kids to have a G-Wagon mom, so I'm going after everything. All the doors that were shut on me, I'm coming to buy the building. Okay? After I graduated, I consciously decided I'm going after everything else. Last year, I really thought I was going to graduate. Let me reframe that. Last year, I thought that I was going to graduate, and I think I did enough to put me in a position where I thought I would graduate, but then it occurred to me what I had given was the bare minimum. The bare minimum could not cut it on the level that I was trying to go. Strathmore requires excellence. Strathmore calls for you to show up as the best version of yourself, not only from what's in your head, but from fashion cops at all the entrances, because they want you to dress as the best version of yourself. And for so long, I was just like, mbona mnatukazia what we are wearing? We can just wear what we want. But now, what they told us at the graduation square is that two things happen. Either you go through Strathmore, or Strathmore goes through you. Strathmore really went through me. I've come out a different person. And the research journey has been the most instrumental, because I have experienced challenges that I never thought I could accomplish. And in that defense journey, so what I was saying is that what I did last year and what I did this year, with the aim of graduation at the end, are very different things. Last year, I did the bare minimum. Last year, I just tried. I was just like, But last year, I let the fear win. I mean, there was some other challenges that were there, but I don't think I was as committed last year than I was this year. And maybe I didn't know the strength that it required, and I didn't know that I had that strength within me. But I don't want to cry, because every time I say this, I cry, because I cried at the graduation while giving the speech. You guys will see that on the next vlog. Very, very, not very good for the brand, is it? But I let fear win last year. And the actual fear that I'm talking about was the fear of actually being in front of the defense panel. The difference was that last year I was just not willing to try hard enough to put myself in that room, because I really feared being in that room. And this year what I said was that I'm going to try everything that I can to be in that room, whether they validate that this is good or it's not good. At least I got to that room. And even if I fail, I'm going to try again next year, because I will know what the difference again is. Because this year, when I put a bit more effort into it, I saw a bit of more change. What came off from the trying? When I entered that room, first of all, they validated me, and they were like, like I said in another video, one of the panelists was like, oh, your name is Winnie. My daughter is called Winnie, so you should feel like you're talking to your dad. And that immediately de-escalated the situation and kind of made me feel comfortable. So that one point tells me that the rooms that God has prepared for you, or the rooms that are out there for you, are going to be accepting of you. They're going to be welcoming of you. They're going to make you feel comfortable being in that room, they'll accept you. The rooms that you deserve to be in, not the rooms that you outgrow. The rooms that you outgrow, you're going to feel tension, you're going to feel friction every time. The environment is just going to kind of keep being toxic until you remove yourself from that, and it's not enough for you. So it'll keep kind of trying to push you out, really. So the moment I entered that space, they showed me that you're welcome in this space. You're worth being in this space with us. These are professors. These are people who have done 2-3 PhDs. These are people who have written papers, and they just welcomed me, ushered me into this new level, you know? Yeah, so that was the first thing that happened. The next thing that happened, even before I left my house that day, I had said that I'm not gonna put on makeup. If you go back to watch that video, you'll see it in real time. I was saying I'm not gonna put makeup, but then I was like, why do I not want to use my physical appearance to also boost all this, to say that use everything that you have. If you have a beautiful smile, keep showing us your teeth, keep showing us your smile, keep smiling. Like it warms up people, really. If you have a beautiful figure, accentuate your best features. Show up in that room, like, you use everything. If it's not going to be your brain, it's going to be your physical appearance. It's going to be how nicely you're dressed. It's going to be how eloquent you talk. You attack from all sides. That's what I decided in that moment. I was just like, I'm gonna wear very, very nicely. I'm gonna make sure I'm within the school's parameters of what to wear. I'm gonna put on a bit of lip gloss. I'm gonna make my hair really nicely. And when I step into that room, I'm gonna speak very confidently. I'm gonna say everything that I believe. I'm gonna defend my project, because this is my own work. This is work that I had done for like 2-3 years. I had been researching that paper. I was good enough. I was qualified to be in that room. I knew that. And when I presented myself, they validated, and they were like, wow, where did you learn all that English? I always remember that, because I was like, oh, this is just how I usually speak. And they were like, oh. And then I told them I'm a content creator, and fashion is something that I'm really interested in. And they were like, oh, nyinyi ndio wale bloggers. I was like, yeah. And they validated even that, because I was like, academics, they will see like I'm a content creator and be like, oh, so you're one of those. They were like, oh, okay. They were like, okay, even let me tell you, you deserve to be in those rooms. And finally, when you get to a room that is accepting of you, you'll see that they are going to welcome you. People who have gotten to those big platforms, they're not going to kind of put you down and tell you don't deserve. They're going to actually help you get. All you need to do is try. Just bet on yourself. Just bet on yourself, and you'll see. Just like, that's what I realized from that, and that actually brings me to the next. To the next thing of career. And career will be the last thing that I want to touch on before I close this vlog. Okay, now let's get into the last point. I really enjoyed creating this video, because I feel like I'm making a journal entry. And actually, just speaking about journaling, the hardest thing for me in therapy has been journaling. I've never really been a girl who journals, but in the last 2 weeks, if there's one thing that has grounded me, it's journaling. It's journaling, it's dumping, it's venting. Like, I come home, I just put everything down on a piece of paper, and I just feel like I have been released from everything that was chaining me down. Hey, so like, when I tell you peak season is a hectic season, it's really hectic. People who are in the travel industry know. You guys can relate with this. I hope there is some people who actually work in the lodges, in other safari companies, in Airbnbs, who own Airbnbs, drivers, guides. Like, I hope there's, among the people who watch my channel, I hope there's other people in the tourism industry, because you really then understand what I'm talking about when I tell you I am going crazy. I am crashing out. Your work has shown me character development in the last 3 months. Hold my pass. When I was talking about education in the previous point, I've told you that it's important that we don't define ourselves via our successes or our failures. Like, I'm really actually talking to myself here, because I am that person who really defines myself by my work ethic. This actually became very clear to me last year on 2nd August, on 1st August actually. It was when we buried my grandma. I had to come back to Nairobi the same day after the burial, and that's not how I would have wanted. I had to be at work the next day in the morning. And when I die, when you die, like, work will still continue. And for me, even in that season, I didn't really grieve. What I did was I just threw myself at work, and it was really, it really helped me to just kind of not feel. I was just numb, you know, and everything else just kept going, and I, you know, like Lydia KM usually says that the grief doesn't get smaller, you get bigger. I remember being on the plane that night coming back to Nairobi, and I was just like, maybe her soul is still in the air, and maybe like being in the sky, maybe I'll just feel her. It's childish, I know, but it's just what I was telling myself, to just be okay in that state. And let me just come back to it. Really, I just feel like the strength that I have had in the last few weeks to just face a lot of adversity. I just feel like I've been facing a lot of adversity with work, as in difficult clients, difficult suppliers, difficult bosses, these kinds of things. And I don't even know how I've just been able to maneuver. Things are just not great. I really don't have anything to encourage you when it comes to career, because I am also just going through challenges on that phase. And just to show you that I might be really having my shit together on other areas, but there's some still areas that are a work in progress. So that is one of those areas that are a work in progress. Able to sit in the discomfort. You see what I was talking about now with the it has to start from the mental health. Once you've already kind of started building the tools, and these days we have things like BetterHelp. You can just have it online, and I know therapy is not cheap. And even these days, there's people who talk about it on TikTok and on podcasts. Even if you cannot afford to pay a therapist, you need to be intentional about assisting yourself, helping yourself to have these tools to be able to sit in uncomfortable situations. I also saw another TikTok that said you must be able to sit even in the table with your enemies, because when God tells you, I'm going to prepare a table for you in front of your enemies, now every time God is trying to prepare a table for you in front of your enemies, you're running from it, and then you'll never actually learn the lessons you need to learn from that table, because you do not have the courage to sit in the discomfort, the courage to be disliked. You must have the courage to be disliked. When you stop being a people pleaser is when everything just kind of hits you. Initially, they had been beneficiaries of you, running yourself. It's important that you also have boundaries with your work. And me, I'm really talking to myself here. You guys know how dedicated I am to the work that I have been able to do with the brands that I work for. I don't really know what to tell you about that, that side of things, but it is a work in progress for me. And I'm conscious that no matter how hard you work to build somebody else's dream, you still have to spend some time building your own dream. I've cried a lot in the last 2 weeks, and it's okay, really, because sometimes the lessons are in those moments, in these kinds of hard moments is when a lot of transformation happens. So I mean, I'm really in a transformation era, and that's all. Let me end this vlog here. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for really interacting with my graduation content. Yeah, so I want to encourage you guys to subscribe on my channel. I'm currently trying to put together a baby girl retreat 2.0. Like I've kept on shedding light that I was in Naivasha in the past weekend. I was trying to kind of align with the right suppliers to make this vision a reality. Make sure you I'll actually leave a link of the first baby girl retreat here, the picture, so that you can go and watch it and see what we got up to. The next baby girl retreat is going to be in February next year. The purpose for this is going to be a kind of a wellness retreat to kind of just disconnect from work a bit and kind of experience a sisterhood kind of vibe. So we are going to go to Naivasha. We're going to spend a night there. I'm going to arrange everything. What you need to do is pack some cute girly outfits. We are going to be in our baby girl soft life eras. So I will share all the details in due time. But if you want to get the early bird offers, please let me know. on Instagram, in the DM, in the comment section, wherever, however way you can reach me, reach out to me. And it's going to be, I think we are going to accept at least 8 to 10 people. We have not really narrowed down on the number. We've just narrowed down on the venue, on the place, on the activities, and everything is in motion. Now let's now start planning and put one foot in front of the other. And before we know it, we'll be looking back next year and seeing all the improvements that we have done. Guys, let me love you and leave you. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next one for sure. Bye. Mwah.